Hello YouTube, it's Ellen. I am here today actually to do a review and some swatches of the new Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette. I opened it up just long enough to see whether or not anything was broken on travel. This is not sponsored, although that would be awesome. I bought this with my own money from Sephora. The shades are Untouched. I'm actually really excited. I'm just going to be putting this on, seeing how it works, and then we will do a review and hopefully some swatches. Let's see what we want to start with. I did already put on what I like all over my face, which is that Clinique City Block Sunscreen. I'm putting on the Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer. That is just standard what I like to use all over my eyes. And this has a pretty nice mirror, so I'm going to try and use that while I'm doing my eye makeup. It's a little darker, it's overcast, but I thought that might actually help you guys see the colors more. Which, since I'm a ghost, probably means that I look slightly more normal, as opposed to, you know, darker and actually what regular people look like. You know, people who see the sun, or whose skin actually holds pigment. I probably could have done all this off camera. Foundation type thing, primer are on. Like I said, I haven't actually touched it yet, and I kind of want to go full danger and not touch it before I put it on my face. It's probably going to go potentially very badly, but I want to see how that works. So I'm going to do what I normally do with my makeup, which is go in with a light white or cream color from crease to brow bone. So I'm going to use Skull. I'm going to be kind of light with it. I've used some Kat Von D shadows before. I have the Serpentina palette, and she does not mess around with pigmentation. So in other palettes, I would assume that this white would be just like, oh, you know, like a light wash of something, but as you can, hopefully you can see, it is definitely showing up, and I'm putting a little bit on the brush, but not nearly as much as I generally go into cream or white colors, because they tend to not be this pigmented. But it's Kat Von D. She does what she wants. That does mean that I don't think I'm going to take it under my eye like I normally would with other cream or white shades. This is really showing up, and I feel like it would just look like reverse raccoon if I did that, whereas this top part is hopefully going to get blended in with some of the other colors in here and look not so crazy. It's like, it looks pretty crazy in person right now. It might even look crazy to you on camera, but I don't know how much it's picking up the color. Yeah, this is very light, super light. Probably a bad idea to just pack this everywhere, but we have to be even now. Alright, so that means I'm going to go ahead and take what I've been going through to try and set my under eye powder stuff. Winky Lux Diamond Powder. Oh, it broke! So I can't show you. It's most of the way used up. But this is actually an illuminating powder foundation, I believe. And I've been using it to set my under eyes because I don't really use powder foundation. Although that might be a good thing to look into, to try and add a bit of coverage to the sunscreen days when I want to be more covered. Alright, so now we are going to start using some color. I'm again going to use my NYX blending brush, and I think I'm going to try and put Clementine in my crease. This is actually one of the colors I was really excited for out of this palette, because they tend to do like darker oranges and a lot of other colors, but they don't really do pastel oranges as often, and I feel like this is, if you can see it, this is looking very nice so far. It's blending out really nicely. It's showing up much more than I was expecting. Even after seeing the swatches and everything, I was still wondering how her pastel shades were going to show up. We'll do the swatches on my arm at the end, because of course these are going to pop more with the skull base underneath. But I like that. It's going to piss me off. And I'm trying to keep the mirror out of the way so you guys can actually see it going on. I'm hoping I'm doing it somewhat successfully. You guys seeing that? Probably not. I'm just gonna keep asking. That's really nice. Yeah, it's building up really nicely. It's not patchy or weird. That it just seems to do what most of her shadows have done, as far as I've noticed, is it's just really, the color in the pan is what it's showing up, at least on my skin. We should hopefully have a friend with a deeper skin here to help us out with swatches to see how it looks on people who are not this pale. That was one of the things I was wondering, is if this palette is really going to be usable for other skin tones, because pastel is great for me, for pale people, but I don't know how that's going to show up on somebody with deeper skin. Alright, and then next, I kind of want to go in with this green gloom on the outer corner and see how that goes. So I'm going to use my Luxie 231, and I'm going to pick that up and start packing that on the outer corner. Again, if that's showing up for you, I don't know, but it is looking very nice. I was kind of worried when I was looking at these that they were going to take a lot of time or color to build up, but they are not. They are just depositing color and showing up rather nicely right away. They're not getting muddy at the corners where they're together. That's really, really nice. And of course, I'm getting excited and doing way too much color in there. But what am I going to do next? I know I want to take this yellow star and pack it on my lid. Or the inner half of my lid. I'm going to use that brush I got out of the Ulta palette that I have no idea if they sell separately, but if they do, and you know, tell me, because I really like it, but I also don't feel like spending, you know, $10, $20 on a palette to buy another one when I don't actually really want the palette. Oh, that's so nice. Not so sure I'm liking the overall look, but all of the colors, where I place it is my problem, but colors all really, really nice. I thought about dragging in like a shimmer from somewhere else to try and do what I tend to do with looks. I don't really do a whole lot of all matte looks, but I wanted to just use this palette and see how it went, and all of these colors are gorgeous so far. Which I was hoping for, because I bought it and I paid money for it and I wanted to like it. I don't think anybody buys something hoping they're gonna hate it. Uh-oh. Oh, that works really well. I got a little yellow on the green and I was worried that it was gonna be a problem. Not a problem. It just comes right off. This palette is lovely, and that's dangerous. Okay. I can't decide if I want to put something to deepen up the outer corner or just leave it like it is. I'm really liking Clementine. I'm just going to swirl that over the outer corner, kind of clean up the overall look. And I can't decide what I want to put on my lower lash line. I'm kind of looking at Doom, this bright blue, but I don't know because I've already got more total colors that I tend to use in an eye look, but I like it. Oh, you're so nice. I think I'm going to take this Sephora Pro Smoky Liner and I'm going to take Doom. This is going to get dangerous. And I'm going to try and just place that on my lower lash line. And hopefully I like it. Sorry, you guys can't see shit. Yeah, that's showing up really nicely. Normally, with blues like this, you have to build it up more before it is just this opaque and true to color, but this is really, really nice because, you know, Kat Von D knows what she's doing. Yeah, that's super, super cute. Okay. I do think I want to take a little of Dope, this dusty purple color, and just place a tiny bit of that in the outer corner. I'm going to use that Luxie 231 again, and hopefully it's not too dirty with the green to do what I want. Okay. I really like that. I really can't tell if you guys can see the colors. Let me see if I move this curtain to let more light in, if it shows up for you guys. Oh, that's so much better. I am so sorry. Let me fix this. Alright, so I'm an idiot, and I didn't think about just opening up the curtain to let the light in, but now you guys can see what I was talking about that you probably couldn't see at the beginning of this video, which is horrible, but yeah, these colors are showing up really nicely. I am going to finish up and pop that white skull in the inner corner as a highlight, even though it's probably still kind of there from when I packed it on my lid. I am an idiot. Okay, that's a little intense. I'm gonna fuzz it out in a second with a different blending brush. But I do appreciate, like, she didn't put a black in here, which makes sense, it's a pastel palette, but a black might have, you know, we've got Dagger if we really want to try and deepen something up. And there's, try and just fuzz out the edges of the lash line. I really like it. I'm so sorry about how often the light's gonna adjust now that I moved that curtain out of the way. But I am going to go ahead and pause this, go finish up the rest of my makeup, and be back to tell you what I think about the palette, but I'm guessing you can tell that I like it. Alright, I'm back. I put on the rest of my makeup. I did get a better look at the corners, and like the purple and the orange didn't go super well together, but that's my fault about where I placed the colors. That's not that the colors are bad. We're going to try and do some swatches now. I don't know if I can fit all these on my hand, but we're going to see what we can do about that. So let's start with the fun ones. First we have Star, the yellow one. Let's see if we can put them on the back of my hand. Clementine, that orange. That didn't swatch very nicely, but it showed up on my eyes really well. We have Meow, that kind of like dusty lilac. Doom, which is what I used in the outer corner as a mistake. It's kind of a very gray toned purple. I like it. Those go really well. Oh, Dope. That one's Dope. This one's Doom. In the blue. Gloom is that green. Trying not to overlap, but I can't actually see. And then we're going to go into Dagger, which is I'm probably going to get a lot of use out of Dagger because it's a nice mid-gray. They tend to come a lot more charcoal or not show up at all. And then we have Skull. I'm just going to swipe across the top. It's white, pretty similar to my skin tone. These actually show up really, really nicely. I'm pretty confident that we're going to get some nice swatches in our footage later with our friend M, who's going to come over. I did want to bring up a comparison which I noticed as I was getting the rest of my makeup done is we've got some similar colors in the Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette, but they perform a lot differently. In particular, like Metamorphosis seems like it'd be really similar to Doom, but Doom shows up a lot faster. Whenever I play with Metamorphosis, I do love the color, but I have to really build it up. Same with Calavera, which you'd think would show up as a much deeper yellow than Star, but Calavera I almost always have to put a white base underneath, and significantly more than just like a white powder underneath it, or else it's not going to show up as much. And the other one that I thought might be, well actually they're not that similar looking at them, like Hatter and Gloom. Hatter's actually pretty nice, but it's not as soft. It tends to be a bit more vibrant, which again, this is a pastel palette. I really like it. I really think it showed up really well. It blended out really well. When it first came out, I was actually kind of not excited because I looked at the promo pictures. It looked like they were going to be either the same or extremely similar shades in the metal matte, but I have since seen people do side-by-side comparisons, and this does look a lot lighter because it is a pastel palette, and the metal matte was looked as more of a like a bright palette. And I have the metal matte sitting on the shelf behind me, but I can't open it. It's a birthday present, and so I don't get to touch it for another month. So if you guys are interested in seeing me do a comparison once I have it, or just playing with the metal matte once it's out, I know it's sold out and nobody can really get it right now. Oh, that does remind me. This is limited edition, so if you want it, I would suggest you go get it. A bit much surpassed my expectations. I was not really thinking that the colors were going to be that bright off the bat and blend that nicely together. I'm going to use this a lot. I think this is going to be a really good spring palette for just adding together. Like, I'm probably not going to do this many of the colors all together out of the palette all the time. I think it's going to be really nice to pull in a new crease color or a pop on the lower lid that is not as bright as rainbow palettes tend to go. A lot of people, you know, case in point, this is really nice, and you think that these at the row on the bottom would be nice and soft and whatever, but only one of two of those is matte, and that's the white and the blue. So these all have shimmer, and if you don't like wearing shimmer in your crease like I don't, you're kind of stuck with what you've got, and you can't use those the way you'd be using these. Matte palettes actually really are convenient for that, and I like them because you can put it anywhere. You can put it on the lid, you can put it on the lower lash line, wherever you want to put it. You're not constrained by the fact that it has glitter in it, that if you don't like glitter in your crease, or you don't like, you know, the way glitter shows up on your lower lash line or crinkles or something, you're not stuck with that. It's a nice matte palette that's just going to do what you want it to do. My conclusion is, buy it if you're going to use the colors. If you don't use bright colors, well, actually, even if you don't use bright colors, because these would be nice things to use in a look. Like, you might not want all the bright colors from the Spectrum palette, but this yellow on the lid is going to be a nice introduction to using colors. This orange in the outer crease, if you used browns and like a champagne color for the rest of the look, would be pretty neutral. I think these are all things you could incorporate pretty easily, and so if you wanted to get into colors, you're gonna like this palette. Like usual, Kat Von D knows what she's doing, and she's really good at it. Alright, so hopefully we will now have some video of our friend doing the swatches on her skin. If not, there's some promo videos and some campaign photos of them doing it. They have 3 different skin tones, I believe, in one of the pictures, and it looks like it shows up on all of them. I just want to know for us as well, because yeah, it shows up on me, but is it going to show up on anybody else? Alright, bye. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment and Let me know what you want to see, if you liked it, if you're buying it, and what you're excited about it. Or if you have something similar, if you have a dupe for any of these colors, if somebody like just wants one of them, comment so somebody knows what it is. I don't think I have any things that dupe these colors. Thank you for watching. Bye.